had abundance, success, and good family, good marriage. And about 5 years ago, my wife had an accident. And our relationship changed in the event that I am the caregiver. I have caregivers that work with me, but I'm the one responsible.
Or I am the one most interested.
Okay. And I have a very high level of interest.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge. And one of the things that is the biggest challenge has been my feeling of guilt if I do something for me versus the option of spending all the time taking care of my wife.
Yeah.
I've always handled stress well. Prior to that, things were working very well prior to the accident. And the shift.
We're going to give you something that's going to be so helpful. You're
Thank
really
you.
going to like this. And so just relax, because we're going to approach it a little differently than you might think, but you're really going to get it. Because of what you've been living, you will understand it perfectly. So everything that we've been talking about already was the precursor to the platform, the basis of this conversation that we're going to have right now. So you picked up with us on this part about getting into alignment with who you really are and then following those impulses. And we want to say to all of you that really, until you take the opportunity to meditate on Sunday and then Monday and then Tuesday and then Wednesday and really quiet your mind and feel yourself moving into a different day as each day unfolds, once you really start that, then everything that we're saying here, you're just going to have to take our word for it, which means it's not really going to be all that meaningful to you unless you've already had experience that confirms these words. But once you have the opportunity of getting into the receptive mode because of meditation and knowing you've done it, and then begin receiving impulses and knowing the difference. Now, we're just going to show you some examples. So Esther sat to meditate a few weeks ago and quieted her mind and felt that blissful feeling of detachment and that important experience of detachment and therefore no vibrational point of attraction really happening for a few minutes. And then a thought came into her mind, and it was such a strong thought that she would call it an impulse. And the impulse was about a furniture store. And it was so strong that she got right up, put her shoes on, gathered up her things, put them in her purse, and off she went. And when she got there, something that she'd been looking for was right there. And then she thought, when I meditate, I think my impulse should be about world peace or something important, but a piece of furniture? Really? Yeah, really. Whatever's in your vortex that you've been asking for, your inner being will give you the impulse, which is the path of least resistance. And of course, those are not the only impulses Esther receives, but they were some of the early ones that she began receiving once we began talking about thoughts turning to things. Now, this is the reason that we're giving this to you in this sort of seeming long way. When an impulse comes and it feels really, 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 really good, you can know for sure it came right from your inner being in answer to the things that you're asking for, and that it is a step toward your fulfilling yourself. And unless you are fulfilling yourself, you're not going to be feeling any satisfaction. So, of course, there are so many intentions that you have in your vortex regarding many things, and especially regarding the caregiving to your wife, especially about that. But as impulses come, they're going to come on a lot of different levels about a lot of different things, and you'll get better and better and better at receiving them. They come all the time. But here's what happens to so many of you. Many of your impulses come from this manifested world that is a lot about need. It's about what I need to do. You use the word responsibility. It's about, if I don't do this, then this unpleasant or uncomfortable thing will happen. Well, when your impulses come from that, they're not coming from this pure place. And while you might satisfy something to a certain extent, there's no replenishing in it. And after a while of operating too much from those kinds of impulses, the replenishing mode is sort of shut down, your intuitive mode is sort of shut down, and your joy mode is sort of shut down too. So when you have meditated and the impulse comes, then follow that impulse, and after a little while, you'll begin to see that your sensitivity, your timing, all of these things really improve. Now still, we're just giving you the basis of what we really want you to hear. And we're happy to acknowledge how well you received everything that we said just now so far. But this is the piece that we want you, all of you, to hear. You are more practiced at feeling for an impulse from someone else than you are from your own inner being. You all give yourself away far too much and then resent it. And it's because you are not fulfilling your connection, you're not receiving your true impulses, which would lead you to all of those wonderful places too, just with a stronger, more replenishing energy stream. Not for a moment would you do less for your wife. Not for a moment would you abandon her or do less for her. You're just going to stay in the replenishing mode, and your timing and everything else is going to be better. And so in short, what we're saying is you got to care about following the impulses that feel good to you rather than following the impulses that feel good to someone else. It's big. It's really, really, really powerful, deliberate creating. But you're really, really going to like it when you get there.
I took up meditation when I was 18.
Yes.
And I was doing it twice a day for
Yes.
20 years, and I don't do it that often,
Yes.
but I know the mechanics of it, and I know that feeling when you're...
What we're asking you to remember or to know or to relearn or to learn anew is what that feels like when, in the connected, aligned state, an impulse comes to you, and with it comes such a strong feeling of satisfaction that wild horses will not keep you from doing it. And the thing is, most of you have trained your ability to receive those impulses away from yourself because you've been seeking approval from others, trying to do the right thing. You've weighed the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. You've got so many voices in your head about what you should do, what's the honorable thing to do, what's the practical thing to do, what's the smart thing to do. And so often, you're really taking long, hard ways around what you're really asking for. Where as you get into that detached state and just sit there in the relief and peace of it for a while, and then when an impulse comes, give yourself permission to follow the impulse no matter what it is, just for a little while. If it's take a walk, do it. If it's get in the car and go somewhere, do it. Whatever it is, give yourself permission. You will very soon feel the impulse in such a strong way that you'll be able to discern, because you're meditating and that's when the impulse comes. You see, you're not going to be able to very easily sort out where the impulse is coming from. Is it coming from need or from true allowing? Unless you're meditating and coming out of meditation when it comes. Because you're already receiving impulses, because impulses are the momentum of strong thoughts that are flowing. Did you hear that? Impulses, whether they're coming from this pure positive place of your inner being, knowing exactly what the best path of least resistance is for you, whether it's coming from there or whether it's coming from the momentum of things that you're sort of worried about. When an impulse comes, you're not going to know for sure whether it's coming from need or from joyous knowing, unless it's coming to you as you're coming out of meditation. At first, just at first. Are you following us? This is the biggest sales job we've ever done in asking you to just try to discover for yourself personally the benefit of meditation. Because if you can show yourself what that impulse feels like, and the reason that we gave you the analogy of Esther and the furniture is because that's an impulse that ordinarily you would not trust, because you would assume that it's frivolous, that it's not important, because you've assumed that the things that matter to you often are not important. It's only the things that matter to other people that are really important.
So denying those impulses leads to the resentment that I feel at times.
Of course it does, because you're not replenishing. And the likelihood of your behavior changing that much is not very likely. Your behavior is probably not going to change that much. You're just going to be coming from resources that are replenishing. You see, Esther's this way too. We're working on talking her out of it too. If your impulse is to keep everybody happy or to make someone else happy, well, you can do that for a little while, but after a while you begin feeling resentful. Unless you're coming from that well of true power and empowerment and knowledge and resources, then you cannot sustain it for very long. It's a wonderful thing once you get in the flow of this, because now we want to pull this back from the specifics of this, because we know you got it, and just go back to this awareness of what it feels like when you are allowing the thoughts to turn to things and you are in on the expansion and evolution of it. So you get to be there to witness the next explosion and the next and the next and the next as the vibration turns to a thought. That's a big, big deal. You must have wondered how it is that thoughts turn to things. You must have wondered where the prosperity comes from. There's no pipelines from other planets. They're not trucking it in from other places. It's all coming from the resources of the mind of those who are present here and the non-physical energy that is sustaining and supporting. This is the way this creation happens. And so when you allow yourself to get into the receiving mode and then you receive this thought that is so strong that it's an impulse, and you acknowledge where it came from, and you follow through on that impulse, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then you watch how it unfolds, you get to witness what deliberate creating is. And deliberate creating is step one, is when you do all the asking. You do all your thinking and all your asking in step one. How about that? And when you go back to step one to try to do your thinking, it doesn't work out very well. You've done that thinking, you put it into the vortex. Now let the universe orchestrate it and manage it. Then you get in the receptive mode and follow those impulses and watch how perfectly your life begins to be. Really good.
Really good.
Really good. Good time for a segment.